What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Still on vacay. You know what we're doing. I'm holding the mic this time because my mic stand has broken. Apparently, the flight was not kind to it. What do you do? So, we're going to start with a story I saw this morning that personally enraged me, but fine. I'll let y'all be the judge of that. It was talking about a scenario where the Miami Dolphins might trade for the number one pick. Immediately, I'm like, why? Y'all know I have been very much on the record saying I think this draft class this year is weaker than the one last year, and I don't think any of these guys are going to change your franchise. I don't think Dante Moore is coming out. I've said that from the jump, despite what the draft analysts keep saying. I think Oregon's on the back of the Brinks truck. I don't think they're going to win a championship this year. I think once they lose, Oregon will make a $10 million plus offer for him to come back for one more year, and he will come back. So I'm taking him out of the equation. Even if he does come out, I still feel the same way. But neither here nor there. I'm not a Francisco Mendoza guy to be like your franchise dude. I see a tall Kirk Cousins. That's totally cool. And don't get me started with Mateer and the rest of those guys. So there's a scenario where Miami right now is the 10th pick. And if we play the rest of the year out, we'll most likely stay there. I think a couple teams in front of us will have to win out for us to go even higher up in the draft. But for now, let's just say we end up at 10. The draft compensation would be us giving up the number one pick this year, the number two pick this year, the number one pick next year, the number two pick next year, and then possibly like a later round pick, like a fourth or fifth. It's just not worth it. Now keep in mind, allegedly, according to sources, when Joe Burrow came out, this is the Tua draft, we offered 4 first-round picks for Joe Burrow. And Bengals said no. There's a reason for that. They thought Joe Burrow was a franchise quarterback. I believe the number one pick could be available for 2 1s and 2 2s and maybe like a fourth or fifth. But is Mendoza remotely the prospect that Joe Burrow was? What are we even talking about? No one in this draft is worth that. Also, the Jets pick in front of us. So if we offer a 1 or 2, a 1 and 2, and maybe a late round pick, the Jets can literally do the same thing, but their picks are better than ours. So why would our package even get looked at? If the Jets would hear our package, oh, you said 2 1s, 2 2s? Here's 2 1s, 2 2s. Hey, you want a DB too? Hey, do you want like a fourth round pick that we picked up off another? Like, it's just they have a better package than the Dolphins. We would have to overpay to get someone who I don't think. Yes, I assume Francisco will be better than Quinn Ewers will be to some degree, but I don't think either one in this offense makes us like world beaters. So why do it? This is dumb. This feels like clickbait. Let's just talk about the Dolphins kind of thing. Let's just get Francisco's name on the board. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't see any scenario where this will happen. Now, if our pick somehow increases to like pick 7 or like 6 because Cleveland wins out and because like it's, and even then I think we'll have a better record than them. But is there a scenario where we can get like the 7th pick? Sure, but the Jets have the 3rd pick, I believe. So just even that to trade back. If you're the Giants, you could trade from 1 to 3 and you pick up 5 picks. Whatever the Giants are going to do at 1, they can probably do at 3. If 1's going to be a quarterback, 2 is going to be either quarterback or top D lineman. The Giants D line is awesome. Their offensive line is pretty good. So they say they want the best offensive lineman. They will probably be right there at 3. So I get to trade back 2 picks and get the player I want and 5 more picks. It's just too tempting for the Jets to do it. And the Jets clearly need a quarterback. Aaron Glenn's a defensive guy. They traded Sauce. They traded Quinnen. Like, they're in a rebuild. They have plenty of picks. It's the Jets. It's the Jets. Even if Miami really wanted to, it's not us. It's not going to happen. If you started doing that trade speculation in your mind, stop doing it. Not going to happen. Even if it was, even the Jets say, we're not going to do it, the Raiders would do it. And the Raiders also have more trade compensation than we do. So it's not going to happen. There's 2 teams in front of us that need it way more than we do. We can play Quinn next year, and I think still have better years than the Raiders or the Jets. We don't need to do it. This is dumb. Let's move on. So Chris Carter, who has been known, I don't think Chris Carter is a hot take artist. But I do think he likes hearing his name be mentioned in the right conversations. I think he likes hearing his name be algorithmic and all that stuff. He says a lot of flagrant stuff. Like, I don't know how many people listen to his podcast. I don't look at the numbers of that. But Chris Carter be popping off. And he's been this way since he left Fox Sports One, when he was like trying to do the corporate TV thing. I think his actual personality is not corporate TV guy. It's kind of hot takey. Hey, I was great. I know I'm good at what I do. I say what I want. Like when he said you should have a fall guy in your group, like 10, 12 years ago, I was like, that's who Chris Carter is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. You'll find it. But anyway, Chris Carter was defending Brian Flores on his show, and he was really going in on Tua. And so it wasn't all Brian Flores, like, I'm giving him love. A lot of it was, I just don't like Tua. I'll tell you what he said specifically here. He said a lot more than this, though. He said, the coach was saying the right stuff in the quarterback's ear to Tua. But Brian Flores, they got rid of him. But now we come back 3 or 4 years later. Everything Brian Flores said about Tua is true. Now he's in street clothes. Now he's out there like me. Oof. Come on. He's not. Tua's clearly wearing a jersey. He wasn't in street clothes. Why would he say that? He's not in street clothes. Yes, he's the emergency quarterback, so effectively he's in street clothes. But he was dressed out for the game. He was on the sideline. He isn't like Chris Carter. But that was gratuitous at best, just rude and cruel at worst. And I understand the vantage point, because the Tua Flores situation is multifolded. It's not just what happened on the field. I don't believe Brian Flores as a person like Tua as a person. So that undercuts everything. As a football analyst, he wanted Justin Herbert, who was objectively a better prospect, taller, bigger arm, less injury prone, right? But the management wanted Tua. Totally get it. But the things he said to Tua weren't always, hey, you're not reading the coverage right. Hey, you're not playing well. He was trying to demoralize Tua as a person. Like, he was trying to make him feel bad as a dude. And that's where some of the tension came up. I mean, Tua really let it fly. Once we hired Coach McDaniel, like, he was just like, listen, I think he's a terrible person. He didn't say I think he's a terrible coach first. He said terrible person. This became a personal thing between those two. Tua was a franchise quarterback. Brian Flores got his first head coaching job. And basically, this is conjecture, felt like this dude's going to cost me my job because he's not good at his job. So maybe to that degree for Brian Flores, it was also personal. Because if you're not good at your job, I'm going to get fired. So I'm going to do everything I can to either get the best out of you or get you up out of here. But the franchise chose Tua, and Brian left. But it wasn't just, hey, this guy's not good. This guy's not accurate down the field. Because we also didn't have the team really set up for Tua to be good. The O-line still wasn't great. We had a young Jalen Waddle. We didn't have a Tyreek Hill yet. The defense was middling. So it wasn't built to be a good team. And we had the fifth pick. It wasn't like our team was balling out and then we picked up Tua. We were a bad team. But it did get personal. It got nasty. And then they were trying to do the Tom Brady thing, which the league is just completely swept over, where Tom Brady's on a boat and Brian Flores is trying to do some sneaky, do you want to sign Tom Brady stuff? There's a lot of stuff happened with the Brian Flores thing, which led to him suing the NFL. It's a lot. So as a football person, if we could take away the personal slights and all that stuff, on the field, I think Brian Flores is probably 80% right about Tua. I don't think he ever saw a scenario where Tua could, 1, play a whole year, 2, he can lead the league in passing, 3, he could be a Pro Bowler. I don't think he ever saw those things. But the idea that he's not an individual difference maker, probably to the degree of his draft pick, I think is pretty accurate. His deep ball strength is not there. Sure. His mental fortitude, I think he's probably mostly right. I think Tua's bounced back from a lot, but I do think Tua can go on the tank mentally. We've seen it on the field where he can go on the tank on the field too. So I think there's some truth to what Brian Flores was saying. And I do think he'll be a coach this upcoming off-season cycle. There are a few teams I have in mind. I will talk about that in the offseason. But I don't think he'll be a DC in the next season. I think he'll be a head coach. And we'll see his second time around, because Brian Flores has said, hey, I may have been a little too hard. Hey, I'm working on some stuff. Because he's off the Belichick tree. But Belichick had been 25 years coaching when Flores came on. He had already been Belichick. So he saw Belichick does this. He's the best coach. I'm going to do what Belichick does. And a lot of what Miami did as far as discipline and all that was good. We just didn't have a great roster. But that's what happens. So I get where Chris Carter's coming from. He's probably friends with Brian Flores. I don't know their personal relationship. I know he doesn't like Tua. So you don't like Tua as a player, then you're going to just join any side that's anti-Tua. It just felt like gratuitous at a certain point. Brian Flores did a lot. Tua wasn't playing up to his snuff. And I think that's kind of where we ended up with that whole messy situation. Unfortunately, the NFL strikes again with the vote. Jordan Brooks was snubbed from making the Pro Bowl this year. He's the first alternative, which means that if one of the two guys who were voted in had to drop out for some reason, surgery, they're still playing, what have you, then he will be next in line. But this is significant for a number of reasons. One, he should have just made it. He's leading the league in tackles. He's been the most consistent. I said a week and a half ago when he was injured, I was like, hey, he's going to play if he can for one, the tackling title is something important to him, but also the Pro Bowl. He got snubbed because they put Roquan Smith in, who I've been saying for weeks has been overvalued. For weeks, because I knew that people were going to just put him in because of his name, because he's made it before, because, he's number 0. I get it. Roquan Smith has not been good this year. Sorry. This has been a below average Roquan Smith year, which is still a good year by most standards. He has not been better than Jordan Brooks. Now, Al-Shaair for the Texans, I think, has been arguably the best linebacker. He is my favorite linebacker to personally watch. I love everything about Houston's defense. I love Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter. I like Petrie. I like Darius Stingley. I'm a fan of their defense. I wish we can build our defense in the model of Houston's. Full disclosure. So I have no issue with Al-Shaair making it because I think they're the best defense. He's been great. But Jordan Brooks has 70 plus more tackles than him and 40 plus tackles more than Roquan. He has more sacks than both of them. It's weird. When you look at the numbers, he has way better numbers than both of them. I think his tackle for loss is close to Al-Shaair's, but it's still basically, he's had better years than both of them. Roquan getting in is on name recognition only. It's just because of his name. And the reason this really sucks for Jordan Brooks is because he had an incentive in his contract for $250,000 if he made the Pro Bowl. And this whole time I was like, well, yeah, he'll hit that. He's hit every other incentive in his contract so far. He's had an amazing year. He's worthy of making it. Now, I know it's not always the best player gets in, and we'll talk about Devon Achane and other players in tomorrow's show. But this sucks, man. I mean, there's no other way to say he has a legitimate chance. Not legitimate. He has an outside chance to eclipse 200 plus total tackles this year. It's crazy. He's been the hardest. So he's been defensive player of the month, and he's done all the stuff. Roquan Smith has not won any of that because he hasn't been that good. Period. He doesn't deserve to be here. Baltimore's a bad team. He's not been good. He's not been impactful. It's different where the last couple years Baltimore is a 1, 2, 3 seed, and then he's top linebacker, That's totally cool. Last year, 2 years ago, no issues. This year, Baltimore has one more win than we do. So you can't say, oh, what Roquan's doing is contributing to winning. It's not. He's not doing anything. He's just getting beat in coverage all the time because he's not fast. It's annoying. Al-Shaair, again, no issues. I will vote him in on my ballot. But the Roquan pick, that's a name pick, man. And the fact that it comes at Jordan's contract expense is annoying. And maybe Roquan do the right thing and step down. Maybe. Maybe he needs to have some kind of surgery and he can't actually play in a game. And then Jordan can get in. Perhaps. But it shouldn't even be that. Jordan's earned the right to be there. And this is not just a partial fan talking. He's been a better linebacker all year. The league has acknowledged it. The field has acknowledged it. The stats acknowledge it. He's simply been a better player. Roquan has had a better career. Cool. He's getting paid more money. Cool. No slight to Roquan. He's a really good linebacker. But this year, Jordan Brooks has been better. Period. And he deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. The fact that he isn't right now, that sucks, man. It sucks for his money. It sucks for his pride. He might still lead the league in tackles, but it feels a little more hollow when you don't get the Pro Bowl nod too. I don't love it. And we were talking about it for weeks. I've been on the campaign for weeks trying to make sure that the word got out. I'm not big enough as an entity to do that. I understand that, but I was hoping that it would get out so people will talk about it. And just the bigger medias haven't picked up on him. Even when he won Player of the Month, he's like, we won't talk about it. They haven't talked about him. And I think it's just easy to default to the Roquans because he's there. He's a name. Like Roquan's a cool name. But he hasn't been better than Jordan, and I hope it works out to where Jordan can get in and he gets his incentive bonus. But if he doesn't, just know you should have been a Pro Bowler. You have 100% been snubbed, and that's not just Dolphins Nation talking. A lot of people who watch football know that you should be in the game. But as always, y'all, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for your likes and the subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.